Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving into a book that's, well, it's really thought-provoking. It's called Feeling is the Secret
Oh, yeah.
by Neville Goddard.
I love that book.
Yeah, and the title is pretty bold, right?
It is.
Feeling is the secret,
Mhm.
but it dives deep into this idea that our feelings are actually the architects of our reality.
Yes.
So it's not just about, you know, reacting to the world around us,
Right.
but actually shaping it.
It's not even just positive thinking.
Yeah.
It's really about embodying the feeling of what you want.
Exactly. Okay, so Goddard kicks things off by talking about consciousness and the subconscious
Okay.
and how they work together. He describes consciousness as like the ultimate reality, the source of everything, and
Right.
everything we experience is like a projection of that consciousness.
Like a movie projector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I think is fascinating is the analogy he uses to explain this connection.
Okay.
Imagine a stream that's divided into two parts.
Okay.
The conscious mind, the part we're aware of, is where ideas bubble up. And the subconscious mind is the deeper part. That takes those ideas and gives them form in the physical world.
Yeah, it gives them expression.
So think about a time when you had like sudden flash of inspiration, like a brilliant business idea or a solution to a problem
Right.
that's been bugging you.
That's your conscious mind
Yeah.
at work.
Now picture yourself actually taking steps to make that idea a reality. That's your subconscious.
Putting things into motion.
Yeah, putting things into motion.
Yeah.
But here's the catch.
Okay.
The subconscious doesn't judge or filter those ideas.
It doesn't.
It's like a fertile field ready to grow whatever seeds we plant.
Exactly.
So whatever the conscious mind feels to be true, the subconscious accepts and works to bring into being.
It's non-selective.
Hold on. So if I'm constantly stressing about things I don't want to happen
Yeah.
or focusing on like negative emotions, my subconscious is going to take those feelings and run with them.
That's the implication.
Yeah. And that's where the whole feeling is the secret idea becomes so crucial.
Right.
Goddard stresses that our feelings are the language of the subconscious.
It is.
He even has this striking quote, "What you feel you are always dominates. What you feel you would like to be."
Powerful.
So it's not enough to just think about what we want. We have to truly feel it as if it's already ours.
Embody it.
Yeah.
Embody it. Yeah.
And Goddard says that feeling is the only medium through which we communicate with the subconscious.
What only medium.
It's like sending a message to the universe, but instead of words, we're using feelings.
Yeah, I like that. Nice.
He calls the subconscious the womb of creation. And whatever feelings we cultivate are the seeds that we plant in that womb.
That's a good way to put it.
And this is where it gets really interesting for me.
Right.
He's saying even unexpressed feelings, the stuff we try to bury or ignore,
Yeah.
still has an impact. Those buried feelings can actually manifest in our bodies and our environment. So even if we're not consciously aware of these buried feelings, they're still shaping our reality.
Absolutely.
So the key takeaway here is that we need to become more aware of our feelings
Yes.
and consciously choose to cultivate the ones
Yes.
that are in alignment with the life we want to create.
Aligned with what we want.
Yeah, it's almost like we're given this incredible power to shape our reality.
Right.
But we also have a responsibility to use it wisely.
100%.
So we've laid the foundation. But how do we start putting this into practice? Goddard talks about using sleep and prayer as tools to access and influence the subconscious.
Interesting.
He suggests that sleep is like a natural doorway into the subconscious. When we're asleep, our conscious mind takes a back seat, allowing us to more directly impress our subconscious with the feelings we want to cultivate.
I see.
So our conscious mind isn't filtering everything. We can kind of slip past the gatekeeper and plant those seeds directly.
Exactly.
He writes, our last waking concept of self dominates our subconscious impressions during sleep.
So the feeling you fall asleep with is crucial.
Yeah, so the feeling you fall asleep with is essentially the seed you're planting.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
He even uses this really evocative quote.
Right.
He says, she sees you exactly as you feel yourself to be.
Oh, wow.
Who's the she in this case?
He's personifying the subconscious
Okay.
as she, to emphasize that our subconscious reflects back to us
Okay.
how we truly feel.
Okay, I'm starting to get chills here. This means that if I fall asleep worrying about a presentation I have to give,
Right.
I'm basically setting myself up for more anxiety.
Yeah.
But if I fall asleep feeling confident and prepared, those feelings are going to shape my experience the next day.
That's the idea.
And this connects to the concept of prayer as well.
How so?
So prayer isn't about begging for things to change. It's about assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled.
assuming the feeling.
It's about aligning our feelings with the reality we want to experience. Goddard says prayer is less about asking and more about assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled.
That's
He describes it as entering a passive state, similar to sleep,
right.
where we can more effectively impress the subconscious with our desires.
Interesting.
He even references a Bible quote to support this. Whatsoever things ye desire when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them.
Powerful.
It's almost like acting as if, but not in a fake way.
Right.
It's about feeling the joy, the gratitude, the peace that comes with having what you desire, even if you don't see it in the physical world yet.
I see.
And that unwavering belief, that feeling, is what ultimately sets the wheels of creation in motion.
I like that.
This is mind-blowing. We've covered the connection between consciousness and the subconscious, the power of feeling, and how to use sleep and prayer as gateways to shaping our reality. But I feel like we've just scratched the surface of Goddard's ideas.
We have. There's so much more.
Yeah, he goes even deeper, exploring the very nature of spirit
Oh, wow.
and its connection to feeling. It's where things get really profound.
I can't wait to dive into that.
Welcome back to part 2 of our deep dive into Neville Goddard's Feeling is the Secret. Last time we were talking about, how our feelings are the language of creation.
Yes.
Directly shaping our reality. But Goddard goes beyond just our personal experiences. He suggests that this creative power is deeply tied to the very nature of spirit.
It's one of the most fascinating aspects of his work. He takes this concept of faith,
Okay.
something we often associate with like religion or spirituality,
Right.
and he kind of reframes it as feeling.
Okay.
He even points to a quote from the Bible, "According to your faith, feeling, be it unto you."
So we've talked about feelings shaping our personal reality, but how does the concept of spirit fit into all of this?
Well, he suggests that instead of blindly believing in something outside of ourselves,
Okay.
true faith comes from cultivating a feeling within. It's about tapping into a power that's already present.
So less about hoping for a divine intervention,
Right.
more about recognizing the divine within ourselves.
Precisely. And he takes this even further by suggesting that truly believing in yourself as God, as the creator,
Wow.
is more powerful than simply believing in like an external God.
Okay. I think some people might find that a bit controversial. What exactly does he mean by that?
Well, he's not saying we should, put on robes and declare ourselves deities or anything. What he's getting at is we naturally express the qualities of the being that we believe ourselves to be.
Okay.
So think about it. If you constantly tell yourself you're not good enough,
Right.
you'll likely act in ways that confirm that belief.
Like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly.
If you believe you're limited, you'll limit yourself.
You'll limit yourself, right?
But what if you flip the script?
Right.
What if you start seeing yourself as capable, resourceful, even divinely inspired? He suggests that if you truly believe you possess this creative power, your actions and choices will reflect that belief.
100%.
So it's not about ego or arrogance.
Right.
It's about recognizing and harnessing a power that's already within us.
That's within us, yeah.
And this leads to one of his most thought-provoking quotes. You never attract that which you want, but always that which you are.
So good.
So if I want to attract success, I can't just wish for it or work really hard. I have to embody the feeling of already being successful.
Yes, you have to embody it.
Yeah.
And it's not about faking it.
Right.
It's about shifting your internal state to align with your desires.
Think of it like an actor preparing for a role.
Okay.
They don't just learn the lines. They immerse themselves in the character's emotions, beliefs, and motivations.
Yes.
They become the character, even when they're not on stage.
Exactly.
And in the same way, Goddard suggests that by embodying the feeling of our desired reality, we start to actually live it.
We start to live it.
We create a blueprint with our feelings, and our subconscious figures out how to bring it into form.
The how is up to the subconscious.
Okay, so the feeling comes first, and then the physical manifestation follows.
That's what he calls the way of all seeming miracles. When we align our feelings with our desires, we open ourselves up to possibilities that might have seemed impossible before.
This is incredibly powerful and a bit daunting, if I'm honest. If we truly have this power to shape reality through feeling, does that mean we're also responsible for the negative things that happen in our lives?
That's a question a lot of people struggle with. And Goddard acknowledges that, there are external factors we can't control.
Right.
But he also emphasizes that we have much more power than we realize to shape our experience of those things.
Okay.
He even uses this analogy. about emotional disturbances
Right.
being at the root of all disease.
Interesting.
And this doesn't just apply to physical ailments, but also to the negative conditions we experience in our lives.
So if we're constantly feeling stressed or frustrated or angry, those unexpressed emotions can manifest as illness or challenging circumstances.
They can.
This really highlights the importance of self-awareness and emotional regulation.
It does. We can't just ignore our negative feelings,
Right.
but we also can't let them control us.
Right.
It's about acknowledging them, processing them, and then choosing to focus on feelings. That will move us in a positive direction.
It's about becoming the master gardener of our own minds.
That's a great way to put it. We have the power to choose the seeds we plant through our thoughts, our beliefs, and most importantly, our feelings.
Goddard also says that sensation precedes manifestation, meaning that we must first feel the reality of what we want before it can appear in the physical world.
He does. It's like we're creating a blueprint with our feelings. The subconscious takes that blueprint and figures out how to bring it into form. But the blueprint, the feeling has to come first.
That's why he talks about living and acting on that conviction, the conviction that our wish is already fulfilled.
Yes, it's about embodying that feeling so completely that it becomes our reality.
He calls this the way of all seeming miracles.
He does.
When we align our feelings with our desires, we open ourselves up to possibilities that might have seemed impossible before. It's like we're tapping into this hidden power within ourselves, a power to shape reality through the sheer force of our feelings.
And that power is available to each and every one of us. We just have to learn how to access it.
And that brings us to the practical side of things. How do we actually cultivate the feelings that will create the life we desire?
Right.
How do we bridge the gap between our inner world and our outer experience?
That's the question.
Well, listeners, that's where the rubber meets the road. And that's exactly what we'll explore in part 3 of this deep dive. We'll uncover specific techniques and practices for mastering our feelings and harnessing the creative power of the subconscious.
Can't wait.
Welcome back, deep divers. We're in the final stretch of our exploration into Neville Goddard's Feeling is the Secret. We've covered a lot of mind-bending territory.
We have.
You know how our feelings shape our reality, the connection to spirit, the power of the subconscious? But now I'm ready to get practical.
Okay.
How do we actually apply these concepts to create tangible change in our lives?
That's the million-dollar question, right? We've talked about how crucial it is to master our feelings.
Yeah.
But how do we actually do that? It takes a lot of conscious effort
Right.
to shift, those deeply ingrained patterns of thinking and feeling.
It's like we've been handed this incredible power, but we're still figuring out the instruction manual.
Yeah.
So where do we even begin?
Well, Goddard reminds us that we already are what we desire to be. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about realizing our true nature. The first step is to shift our perception of ourselves.
Okay.
We need to stop identifying with our limitations and start seeing ourselves as the powerful creators we truly are.
So instead of saying, I want to be confident, we start saying, I am confident.
Yes.
Even if we don't fully believe it yet.
Exactly. And one of the most powerful ways to do this is to cultivate what Goddard calls the feeling of the wish fulfilled.
Okay.
He suggests immersing ourselves in the feeling of our desire as if it is already manifested.
So let's say my dream is to write a novel. Instead of feeling discouraged because I haven't even started yet, I should focus on the feeling of accomplishment, the joy of holding my finished book in my hands.
Exactly. Imagine yourself at your book launch, surrounded by friends and family, celebrating your achievement. Feel that pride, the excitement, the satisfaction. The more we practice this, the more we impress the subconscious with this new feeling of being.
It's like we're mentally and emotionally stepping into the reality we want to create, even if it hasn't materialized yet.
Exactly. Remember, the subconscious is impersonal.
Right.
It doesn't judge or question. It simply accepts what we feel to be true and starts working to bring it into form.
Okay, so we're using our imagination and emotions to create a blueprint for our reality.
Yes.
But I have to admit, it sounds like it takes a lot of discipline to maintain those positive feelings, especially when our current circumstances feel very different.
It does.
How do we stay consistent with those feelings when doubt and negativity creep in?
That's where the techniques of sleep and prayer, which we discussed earlier, become really valuable. Remember, Goddard suggests that sleep is like a direct line to the subconscious.
Because when we're asleep, our conscious mind is out of the way.
Exactly. So the feeling you fall asleep with is incredibly powerful. Goddard encourages us to practice falling asleep in a state of gratitude and satisfaction, visualizing our desires as already fulfilled.
It's like giving our subconscious a clear and powerful message before we drift off.
It is.
And what about prayer? How can we use that as a practical tool?
Goddard suggests using prayer to enter a relaxed and receptive state of mind, similar to the state we experience just before sleep.
Okay.
He says it's less about reciting memorized words and more about cultivating a specific state of consciousness.
So it's not about begging for things to change. It's about feeling the reality we want to create.
Exactly. In this receptive state, we can visualize ourselves already having what we desire and truly feel the emotions that would accompany that reality. We can also use affirmations or positive statements to reinforce the feelings we're trying to cultivate.
So instead of saying, I hope to get that promotion, I might affirm, I am grateful for my successful and fulfilling career.
Exactly. The key is to phrase affirmations in the present tense, as if the desired outcome has already occurred.
It's like we're speaking directly to the universe, declaring our intention and backing it up with unwavering belief.
Yes.
And Goddard emphasizes that it's not just about feeling it, but also living in the end.
Living in the end.
This means acting and behaving, as if your desire is already a reality.
I see.
So if I dream of starting my own business,
Okay.
I should start taking concrete steps like researching business plans, networking with other entrepreneurs, even setting up a workspace, as if I'm already running a successful company.
Exactly. It's about aligning our actions with our feelings, bridging the gap between our inner and outer worlds.
It's like we're sending a powerful message to the universe. This is who I am, this is what I'm doing, this is my reality. And the more we live in alignment with our desired reality, the more we reinforce that belief within ourselves and create a powerful momentum for its manifestation.
It's about momentum.
This is incredible. We've explored the power of feeling, the techniques of sleep and prayer, and the importance of aligning our actions with our desired reality. I feel like I have a whole new toolkit for creating the life I want.
And that's the beauty of Goddard's work. He doesn't just offer theories. He provides practical, actionable steps we can take to transform our lives. It's an empowering message that reminds us we are not victims of circumstance, but powerful creators capable of shaping our reality through the feelings we choose to cultivate.
Well, listeners, we've reached the end of our deep dive into Neville Goddard's Feeling is the Secret. I hope you found this exploration as mind-expanding as I have. It's a lot to take in, so I encourage you to revisit the parts that resonated with you. And start experimenting with these concepts in your own life. What feelings will you choose to cultivate? What reality will you choose to create? Remember, the power is within you.
The power's within all of us.
As always, thank you for joining us on the deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep feeling your way into the life of your dreams.